7 o'clock. This halqa 7 o'clock, and this halqa will end at 8 o'clock tonight. It's a 1 hour halqa. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Today is Saturday, the 15th of Rabiul Thani, 1443, the 20th of November, 2021. With the permission of, well, we have no shayukhs today, so let's see that. I have to, my respected, with the permission of all the my respected brothers and sisters. Welcome to our halaqah. I have the honor and privilege to introduce today's halaqah number 607 without the shayukhs. So our honor speaker tonight is the sister Sameena, and mashallah, I think she has been here many times. So may Sister Sameena bless you and your parents for participation in this halqa itself. Then our honored reciter tonight, as always, our Imam Fawad al-Qassas. He's appearing for 260th time tonight, and hopefully I think he is continuing the session of a Quran session of initiated by my Imam Muhammad Shibli, Surah An-Nisa, ayah number 88 onwards. Please open your Quran from 88 onwards on Surah An-Nisa. And I think, we don't have anybody followed by that. So please forgive me for that. And now I think the floor belongs to Imam of Fawad al-Qassas. So Faddal, Fawad al-Qassas, please. You are mute.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Sheikh Jamal is not here too?
No.
He's out to Lebanon. So.
Oh, mashallah. Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. فما لكم في المنافقين فئتين والله أركسهم بما كسبوا أتريدون أن تهدوا من أضل الله ومن يضلل الله فلن تجد له سبيلا ودوا لو تكفرون كما كفروا فتكونون سواء فلا تتخذوا منهم أولياء حتى يهاجروا في سبيل الله فإن تولوا فخذوهم وقتلوهم حيث وجدتموهم ولا تتخذوا منهم وليا ولا نصيرا إلا الذين يصلون إلى قوم بينكم وبينهم ميثاق أو جاءوكم حصرت صدورهم أن يقاتلوكم أو يقاتلوا قومهم ولو شاء الله لسلطهم عليكم فلقاتلوكم فإن اعتزلوكم فلم يقاتلوكم وألقوا إليكم السلم فإن اعتزلوكم فلم يقاتلوكم وألقوا إليكم السلم فما جعل الله لكم عليهم سبيلا ستجدون آخرين يريدون أن يأمنوكم ويأمنوا قومهم كلما ردوا إلى الفتنة أركسوا فيها فإن لم يعتزلوكم ويلقوا إليكم السلم ويكفوا أيديهم فخذوهم وقتلوهم فخذوهم وَاقْتُلُوهُمْ حَيْثُ ثَقِفْتُمُوهُمْ وَأُولَئِكُمْ جَعَلْنَا لَكُمْ عَلَيْهِمْ سُلْطَانًا مُبِينًا وَمَا كَانَ لِمُؤْمِنٍ أَن يَقْتُلَ مُؤْمِنًا إِلَّا خَطَأً وَمَنْ قَتَلَ مُؤْمِنًا خَطَأً فَتَحْرِيرُ رَقَبَةٍ مُؤْمِنَةٍ وَدِيَةٌ مُسَلَّمَةٌ إِلَى أَهْلِهِ إِلَّا أَن يَصَّدَّقُوا
Sheikh, you're on mute.
رقبة فإن كان من قوم عدو لكم وهو مؤمن فتحرير رقبة مؤمنة وإن كان من قوم بينكم وبينهم ميثاق فدية مسلمة إلى أهله وتحرير رقبة مؤمنة فمن لم يجد فصيام شهرين متتابعين توبة من الله وكان الله عليما حكيما ومن يقتل مؤمنا متعمدا فجزاؤه جهنم خالدا فيها وغضب الله عليه ولعنه وأعد له عذابا عظيما يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا ضربتم في سبيل الله فتبينوا ولا تقولوا لمن ألقى إليكم السلام لست مؤمنا تبتغون عرض الحياة الدنيا فعند الله مغانم كثيرة كذلك كنتم من قبل فمن الله عليكم فتبينوا إن الله كان بما تعملون خبيرا لا يستوي القاعدون من المؤمنين غير أولي الضرر والمجاهدون في سبيل الله بأموالهم وأنفسهم فضل الله المجاهدين بأموالهم وأنفسهم على القاعدين درجة وكلا وعد الله الحسنى وفضل الله المجاهدين على القاعدين أجرا عظيما درجات منه ومغفرة ورحمة وكان الله غفورا رحيما إن الذين توفاهم الملائكة ظالمي أنفسهم قالوا فيم كنتم قالوا كنا مستضعفين في الأرض قالوا ألم تكن أرض الله واسعة فتهاجروا فيها فأولئك مأواهم جهنم وساءت مصيرا إلا المستضعفين من الرجال والنساء والولدان لا يستطيعون حيلة ولا يهتدون سبيلا فأولئك عسى الله أن يعفو عنهم وكان الله عفوا غفورا صدق الله العظيم.
Jazakallah, Imam Fawad, for your recitation with your tajweed and pronunciation. Please, we all of us, we thank you for your services to this halqa. You recited tonight Surah Nisa from ayah number 88 to 99. So I think in the coming sessions itself, in the absence of my Imam Hamad Shibli, we shall leave up to here. And if you, if we can comment on the ayah that you cited, it will be welcome. If we cannot, that's okay too.
Okay. Should I introduce?
No, just hold on for a second.
Okay.
Imam Fuad al-Qassas, we can proceed, right? Okay. Jazakallah khair. And also, Jazakallah khair. Tomorrow you'll be to your turn, right? Tomorrow you'll become.
Yes, inshallah.
Inshallah, tomorrow. So see you tomorrow. With all these things itself, I have the pleasure to introduce Sister Noor. She will eventually introduce Sister Sameena. So, Faddal. Faddal, Sister Noor, you go ahead for the introduction of Sister Sameena, please. Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah khairan, Sheikh. And our two people behind the scenes, as it were. Sister Sameena has been here several times. Thank you again, Sister Sameena, for coming. I know you do not need the to share your screen today, although we all would like to see you. So if you would keep your camera on, that would be great. And please, everyone, welcome Sister Sameena again. Jazakallah khairan. Sister Sameena?
Yeah,
we are all yours.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Walaikum salam.
That was such a beautiful recitation. I didn't want him to stop. Well, alhamdulillah. So I had a presentation created, but what happened, of course, as you know, technology is not always reliable, but and we're getting more and more relying on technology. But actually today, my talk was about the power of words, right? And how to communicate and listen for the sake of Allah, right? So, what we say and how we say it and when we say it, we're all held accountable for that. And the words that we say also we text and type, right? So nowadays communication has changed, but this is always counted for us. It will be asked about this, So my first talk, or first part of the talk, was about listening skills. So and I think most of us may know these stats, and if you don't, I'll say it right now, that there were if you didn't know, that most adults retain only 25% of what they listen to. So in fact, according to research, as we age, our ability to retain what we hear significantly declines. So if you have students in the first and second grade, they retain about 90% of what they listen to in class. Junior high students retain about 44%, and then high school students retain about 28%. So some say this is because of the speed of our brains, the speed of what our brain processes speech. So because on average, we speak about 125 words per minute, but our brain's has the capacity to process our speech at 400 words per minute. So which means that only 25% of our mind is being used, and when we're listening, which leaves 75% of our brain to just wander, And so what I thought we would discuss today is how to become a better listener and truly appreciate the gift of communication and the power of words. So what can we commit to by doing this? How can we improve our listening skills, right? So when we're speaking with others, do we listen sincerely, or we already have, because once they start to tell us something, we already think we know the rest of what they're going to say. So are we listening sincerely? So what is listening sincerely is not interrupting them, right? Not dominating the conversation, and respecting them when they have a pause. And I do this sometimes, actually. So Noor and I, we're friends, and sometimes she'll pause. And I like to give examples from my own life. So when she'll pause, sometimes I'll insert words in there because I'm thinking this is what she wants to say, and she doesn't. She's pausing because she's actually trying to articulate her words or her thinking, and then put it into words, right? So that's with others, and by ourselves. If we're thinking about things on a deeper level, we can contemplate on life seriously, right? We can turn off the entertainment and get comfortable with being silent by ourselves. So listen to ourselves. So that's when we're by ourselves. What else can we do when we're with others? We can listen and try to understand everyone else's point of view. Assume that they know more than you think they know. So that's another a way to become a better listener, right? And truly appreciate the gift of listening. So communication, in our religion, it starts at the very beginning, right? When the Prophet ﷺ is told to read, right? He's told to read in the name of your Lord who created you, right? And when he's told this, this is the beginning of our communication. We're told to read, not talk, endlessly, read and then listen, right? And read and understand, read and comprehend. So, and even write, right? Because the rest of that verse goes on to saying, from your, read, and your Lord is the most generous, who taught by the pen, taught humanity what they knew not, right? So it goes on and on, talking about communicating, starting with reading, then talking about writing. It never talks about just talking, right? So that's like basically, some of the things that I had on listening. There are other things that do happen to us. One of the things is that, we have to know how to tell the difference between two forms of criticism that we receive, and be certain that a person of good character and truth will never leave you brokenhearted and sad. So also know that those who are emotionally and verbally abusive have no, credible thus rendering their words meaningless. So this, I'm going on to this topic. This is like the second part of it. So we have listening, and then we have, reading, and we have writing by the pen, but then we also have, but what if somebody criticizes me, right? So what do I do then? Am I supposed to just kind of be quiet and not say something? And even if they start out in a sort of a good way, but then they lead into criticism. Sometimes they can say, oh, you look nice, but your shirt is too tight or something. So you're like, wait, what? So what is constructive and what is destructive? So that was, so it's like a thought process that I had, and I thought I was trying to condense it all into this one talk. So one of the so what is constructive? So when something is expressed with the intent to benefit. So if somebody tells me, oh, your scarf is not long enough to cover your hair, okay, it's benefiting me. They're not being criticizing of me, right? So that's okay. I can accept that, right? But what if it's intent to harm? What if they say something like it's not long enough, or it's not, it should be darker, not lighter, or something? Then that seems like they're a little bit harming, not giving advice in a good way, like what we're taught to do, right? And then there's constructive criticism, words that are used to empower and uplift. And then again, there's destructive, which are words that are used to disempower and demoralize. So this is like, so it's basically about, how we are using words when we're listening, when we're talking, and when we're giving feedback to others, right? And then, there's criticisms, but there's also compliments, like how do we compliment others? We can do sincerely, again, with express it with genuine love, or insincere, we express it with ulterior motives, right? Or again, we can use words that are true praise, and praise and is always given to God, or words that are excessive and praise is undeserved. Sometimes we give somebody praise and they kind of don't deserve it. And again, it's not for us to judge, but if, like, let's say if we've seen them do something, right? And then you're like, well, that person really didn't, But so why are you giving praise? Are you giving praise just so that you can look good in front of others? Or are you actually giving praise? Are you using these words to actually benefit that other person, So those are like some of the things that I just kind of had on listening and talking and feedback. I know it's kind of a little bit all over the place, but I just thought this would start a conversation and maybe help others understand that listening is part of our religion too, right? We just listen to a recitation. That is just listening. It's not judging, it's not talking, it's not saying, oh, he could have been better, or he could have been worse, or, or he could have been faster or slower. So, this is our religion, this is our culture. And a lot of times, even in our culture, they tell us, our parents tell us, listen. To listen to what, So it's listen and comprehend. And then if you find the words that you're going to speak benefit, then you talk. So that's my little small talk today. Any questions?
I request Brother Maharaj to feel host a question yourself.
Okay.
I'm sorry, sisters. I was myself having some technical difficulties, so I'm not sure. I was not listening entirely because I was distracted by my own difficulties. So please forgive me.
No, it's okay. Yeah.
Sister Noor has her hand raised, so I will. Sister Noor, please, you can conduct the Q&A.
Oh, okay. Inshallah. Of course, I have my hand up. It brings up a few different things that, inshallah, I will remember them all to say. The first one was that when you mentioned about, listening and talking, we also, the first thing we're supposed to hear are the Qurans in our ear. The first thing is, you were saying the first thing in our religion, and went to Muhammad alayhi salam, and I thought of the brand new baby who's being born. And interesting that the same things as you were saying, can mean different things or bring up different things to different people. And both are right, you know, alhamdulillah. And I had heard that things should go through 3 different gates. Is it true? Is it, we went through this with another talker. Is it true? Is it something, and is it beneficial? Will it help? Does it hurt anyone? If I say this, it may be true, and it may pass the second gate, which I can't remember now, but it will hurt people and do no good. And so why should I say it? And that we also have to be taught to not answer right away sometimes. So we can go through these 3 gates. And might be better if I remembered the second gate. And the other one I put on the chat that read it. A long time ago, I was taught when you use the word but, you negate everything before it. I love your hat, but, and then you go, oh no, now what? So no, you don't love the hat. It feels like you don't love the hat because you're using that word. And I really thought about that for a while. It's like, yeah, whenever I do hear that, I kind of do negate that. I make it more small or something. And I think that's interesting too. It can be very challenging.
No, it's true. So I think those 3 gates you were talking about was, is it true? Is it necessary? And is it kind?
Okay.
Yeah. So I think that's like,
I think I heard needed opposed to kind.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
Because sometimes I don't always say kind things, but it is needed.
Yeah.
But I also want it to be true. And what was the second one? I'm sorry.
Is it necessary?
Necessary. Yeah. I think that's a very interesting one. Because a lot of times we just blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And that's when I catch it for myself, that's when I cut it off. Okay, I'm babbling now.
Yeah. No,
so
but
I try to stop myself. You know, I know you also have had a lot of other topics here. So I want to also ask people who are here. Several of our people, if you don't know, went to Umrah.
Oh, mashallah.
They are traveling tonight to go to Jeddah, and on their travels, I have 2 of the people, and Ahmed has some of the people, and one of his people is in Lebanon. So we're trying to get some of the people here, even though they are on a plane to Jeddah from JFK tonight. May their travels be wonderful and the airplane ride's not too eventful. Inshallah. So if anyone has other questions for Sister Sameena, Abdul Majid, please.
Yeah, I have that. It's always a pleasure to have you, Sister Sameena, because it's people who can listen, and you can identify the categories who listen or don't listen. That's a very interesting point here. Can you define the selective hearing yourself?
Selective hearing?
Yeah.
So selective hearing, I think it goes back to, like, even your childhood, when you just heard the good parts, like you would hear, like, we're going to have dessert, we're going to have dinner and dessert, but you didn't even hear the dinner part because because you don't want to eat the vegetables, but you heard the dessert part. So like, it's just, and when you sat at the table, you're disappointed to see all these greens, you're like, wait, but you said we're going to have dessert. No, I said we're going to have dinner, which is a lot of veggies and then dessert. But I think it's your mind, because it's your mind that controls controls your hearing as well, right? So, or your understanding, your comprehension. And at that point, you want to only focus on what is good and what makes you feel good. So, whatever it is, and then you hear this from, trauma victims as well, when they go through, tragic events and things in their life, they don't want to remember the bad. They only want to remember the good, and they'll tell you only the good parts, and you're like, huh, okay. So that's selective. You train yourself to only listen selectively, and we all do it.
Well,
It's-
Jazakallah khair. Jazakallah khair. We have Sister Sharifa, so please, Sister Sharifa, go ahead.
Yes, salam alaikum. Thank you
Walaikum
so much for coming and
Pakistan.
to us. We really enjoy your talks, and we learn a lot. What do you think about, I know we're talking about just listening skills, but I wanted to touch on Facebook. And I noticed that you were saying how people, say compliments, and you were saying how, should it had been said, so what do you think about Facebook? And
So social media in general. Okay, go ahead. You can finish your question though. Yeah. Please.
yeah, that's basically my question is social media. What do you think about that with regard to your presentation?
So I know you're held accountable for everything, right? So so if you're typing it or you're using your tongue to say it, you're still held accountable because it's the intent behind it, and nowadays the biggest thing on TikTok and other places is the comments. You want to read the comments because the comments are hilarious, but they're actually hurting the person who puts that video up. I don't even know why the person put the video up. So whatever, the video they put up, and they get these comments, and you're thinking later, wow, this person is going to, is really going through a lot now when he's reading all these comments against him, or maybe for him, it doesn't matter. But our kids are doing it, we're doing it. And sometimes, a lot of times, if somebody writes, oh, look, I have a new baby, or, my friend has a new baby, you're like, oh, mashallah. So those comments are nice. But sometimes you're like, oh, my mom did this, or my neighbor did that. And then those comments are mean. And I think every single stroke that we type, whether we are laughing at it, even we're laughing at somebody who typed a mean comment because it's funny, I think that's held accountable. We are held accountable. So even, I know when I was in classes, our teacher used to say, even if somebody walks by in front of you and you and your friend are sitting, and and you want to make a comment, but they can hear you, so you and your friend make a face at each other, like just go, look at her, did you see that? Like, look at the way she's dressed. She said you're held accountable for those gestures, even you did not speak a word, but you went like this with your mouth and your eyes and your and your gestures. So this is, social media is no different. You're held accountable for every single thing you type, stroke, laugh at. So be very careful. I tell my kids all the time. I don't know if they listen, but I tell them. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Jazakallah khair. Sister Noor, please.
Again, hi, I'm back. I just don't get enough of Sister Sameena. What can I say? Abdul Majid was saying about selective hearing. I used to have it, and I guess I probably still do. I could hear in a whole big crowd certain friends of mine's voices and what they were saying, even though they were, 20 people back, I could hear them. And, my selective hearing is I hear them, whatever they were saying. And I think moms have moms more than dads. Excuse me, Abdul Majid. I've yelled, Mom, in a big room. And most of the women turn, what? And I say, Dad, I knew. And the men just completely oblivious. And I showed that to someone. And she just started laughing at that selective hearing. And, you know, the mom thing was even not even a kid's voice, not even their kid's voice, but someone said, "Mom," the women just turned immediately, which I thought was hilarious. You know, when I was in high school, someone wanted to teach us about hearing, and she would take each one of us and listen to us differently. And when she asked me to come up, she started looking at her shoelaces and looking down at her shoes and fiddling with her shoelaces and things like this. And the first one she did, she was looking at them and nodding and, you know, leaned forward as they talked. And the middle one was kind of in between, you know, leaned back and, oh, okay, not always having eye contact. And asked each of us, how did we feel? Asked the group, how did you think that you would feel in these cases? Like in my case, would you feel like you were being ignored? And I just, obviously it really stuck to me because 45 years later, here I'm talking about it. It is very interesting thing. I know that I've upset people because I am brisk in what I say, and I am not Daisy, and I have hurt her feelings. I apologize, Sameena. And I will say, would you like some chai? And I would say, I do not understand. If you say no, I will take it as no. And so I asked, would you like some chai? And very politely, she said no. I'm outing you on this house. I apologize. I should have used someone else's name. And I did not give it to her. And she was upset that I didn't give her chai anyway. And so the cultural things that we hear and that we know and don't know can be of very value and certainly can mix me up. Multiculturalism is difficult sometimes, challenging, not difficult, challenging. There we go with that wording, as you say. Sharifa, come on down. You have your hand up. Is it still up or up again?
Yes, yes, up again.
Okay,
Uh,
go
so,
right ahead.
Again, I was just wondering, with regard to the listening skills, improving our listening skills, is there any hadiths at all that talk about or reflect on listening skills that you know of?
I'm
Hello?
sorry, my computer stopped working, so I have to move.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry. I had to
Okay.
move to my phone. No problem. It's all right. I can.
Okay, I'll repeat the question.
Yeah.
Yes, I was wondering if you can give us some pointers on listening skills, and also if you know of any hadiths regarding the listening skills.
I'll research. I know there is a hadith on listening, but I'll research it before I say it because, you know, I want to be sure of it. But as far as tips going on listening, I have learned to let the other person talk, right? Like actually just let them speak, especially the loved ones, because when I'm talking to a friend of mine, I'll hear her whole story and she'll repeat it and I'll still listen to it and I'll be quiet. But then I realize, you know, with our kids and with our parents and with our sister, you're like, okay, I already heard, you know, you're assuming that you know what they're going to say next and you don't let them finish. I actually let my kids finish and make them repeat it sometimes before I say anything. So that was one tip that has helped me. And the other ones that has helped me is so nowadays it's been a lot more of texting. I see they don't actually stand in front of me and talk to me. They text me. So that actually helps. So when they text, I don't right away text back. I actually think about what they asked and then answer, So those are the two things that has helped me in my life. The other things with listening is there's a choice if you want to answer or not. You don't have to answer every single conversation, and that and sometimes I make excuse for not answering. I'll just say like it's almost time for prayer, so I'm going to go make wudu, because I feel like whatever I may say may aggravate this person. So I stop myself. I have stopped myself a lot lately, and just practicing it. Just the more I practice, the better I got at it. So thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah khair. Thank you.
Before, I think, I don't want to interject my thought in the Noor, our sister Noor mind itself. But I think Sister Sameena knows about the tradition of this Halaqah itself. At the end of the thing, kindly just, you have to do the dua if you can. And I think we heard that last time you did a fantastic dua, so mashallah. Remember us, the Halaqah members. Remember the people are associated with those Imam Hamad and Imam Muhammad groups. They have groups now within Darussalam. So every member of their group, please make dua for them. And, their safety and well-being in Saudi Arabia also when they land. And, that will be a great help for them at least, And so, the part goes to you. So it'll be a two-part dua. One will be general dua, and the second will be the guys who are doing the Umrah right now from us. Jazakallah khair. You are on mute, Sister Sameena, you are on mute.
Yeah, no, I said I wrote it down, so I'm going to make. I want to continue with the same dua I had done before, but Auzubillahi minash shaitanir rajim. Okay, so the first dua is. Hang on a second. Sorry. I'm sorry, because of the technical difficulties, I have to switch out many of these things.
No problem, just go ahead.
Okay. We'll start with people who went to dua for the people who went on Umrah.
Yeah, all the we have many people who are from this halaqah who has gone in that group, which is led by both Imams, Imam Muhammad and Imam Muhammad itself. It should be a two-part dua. The first part will be their safe landing in Jeddah as we speak. And the second one is when they land, again for the health and safety.
You can start, brother Majid. You can start, and I'll join in.
Oh no, you do better.
You're doing such a good job.
Yeah, no, I don't do anything. I think it should come to you. And last time we saw you, how powerful dua that you did. You did that.
I wish I can find it again though. But okay, it's okay. We'll start with this one.
Jazakallah khair. Jazakallah
khair. May Allah's blessings light the way of our imams and our friends who have went to Umrah. May it strengthen their faith and bring them joy to their hearts as they praise Allah, as they serve Allah today, tomorrow, and always. May Allah accept their duas, and may He be pleased with them, and may their duas be filled with joy and happiness. I mean, And let me see. I hope they have, may Allah, give them a safe journey, and may their intentions for Umrah be accepted. So inshallah, Ameen, Ya Rab.
You're allowed to wing it, as it were, sister.
Yeah. So anyway, Bismillah. Oh Allah, we ask you to give shifa to those who are sick among us. Please grant them complete healing as you are our Shafi. Oh Allah, please guide our children. Protect them, my Lord, from all of the evil influences that are around them. Give them friends who will strengthen their faith and help them to stay on the straight path. Oh Allah, guide us to seek knowledge of you and this blessed deen from those who are sincere and who possess the correct Islamic knowledge. Oh Allah, please help us to stay away from haram and achieving the best of this world. Oh Allah, don't let us ever turn away from you, no matter how many trials and difficulties you test us with. Let these difficulties serve to make us stronger Muslims and more sincere to you. Oh Allah, we beg you, please guide us towards you. Let us all die as Muslims. Let us see the truth as truth and lies as lies.
Amen.
And we also make dua for Allah to save humanity from being his own enemy, protect your creation from oppression, save the Muslims of India, of Iraq, of Africa, of China, of Afghanistan, Yemen, Burma, Palestine, Kashmir from internal and external oppressors, and protect us and them against violence, fear, danger, poverty. You are our protector, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Ameen.
Jazakallah khair. That's really very good. And thank you very much for again coming to this halqa itself. Also, kindly do the dua for Ethiopia too. There is a lot of killing going on. One of our participant is from Ethiopia itself, and she requested yesterday dua for that. Inshallah, I think may Allah bless everybody over there. Start with this killing should just stop. We end this session with the Surah Al-Asr. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wal Asr. Innal insana lafi khusr. Illa allazina amanu wa amilu salihati wa tawasaw bil haqq wa tawasaw bis sabr. So that ends our session. And again, the last one, but not the least, we have to do this act of going for
Our nephew.
That's our nephew. Yes. Nephew and hero, I think.
Yes.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.